What if I told you that Drew Barrymore's opening in Scream 1996 is more impactful for the Scream franchise than all of the Scream movies that Neve Campbell ever appeared in? Well, that tells you how important opening scenes are. Well, today we're giving our tier ranking for all 6 opening scenes of the Scream movies, Scream 1 through Scream 6. Let's begin. Okay, Ryan. So what is your worst place, number 6 opening scene for the Scream franchise?
Okay, so for me, we got a lot of different sequences. We got 6 of them. For me, coming in last place at number 6 is no other than Scream 4. So Scream 4, I have as my last place. And the main reason why is because we have too many fake outs in this opening sequence. We don't know what's real and what's not real. So after we get one of those stab movie meta fake sequences, we get another one. And then I'm pretty sure we get another one after that. And then we finally get to the real thing. And it was just annoying because you're ready to see, or you're ready to know what the opening sequence is going to be, what the tone is going to be. When you keep doing all these little meta commentary stuff and playing tricks on us, it almost comes across as a comedy, like a scary movie type deal. And it's just annoying. So it's like, no, I didn't like any of those fake outs. So I have to have Scream 4's opening sequence as my number 6. What about you? What is your number 6, Kevin?
So I would have to agree with you. Scream 4 opening scene is my worst opening scene for the Scream franchise. So going back to what you were saying, there were too many fake outs in this particular movie opening scene here. Essentially, we're in 3 different dimensions. So we have a stab movie that is within another stab movie, which is now within this Scream movie. So a movie within a movie within a movie. And each time we see 2 actresses who we don't really know who they are. First, we see Lucy Hale playing Sherry and Shanae Grimes playing Trudy. And then they get killed. And then we see this movie within a movie with Kirsten Bell playing Chloe, and then Anna Paquin playing Rachel. And then we see Chloe's character kills off Anna's character. And then we see, oh, wait a minute, we're still in a movie. And then we see Amy Tardigan's character, who is Jenny Randy, and then Britt Robertson's character, who is Marnie Cooper, get killed off. And then finally we get, as the dead meat, James A. Janice says, title card. And so with that, I was confused a bit. This was the most confusing of all of the opening scenes. They went too meta on this. This is more confusing than it is unique. It's bizarre, and it really does not get us into the movie. It actually makes us go away from the movie because we leave the scene being confused, not eager to watch more, but just confused about what in the world just happened. So that's my number 6. Ryan, what is your number 5 opening scene?
Okay, so for me, coming in at number 5, we have no other than Scream 5 from 2022. And the reason why I have that as one of my last tier opening sequences is because it's not original. All they did was they stole from the original Scream and they took beat for beat the same stuff. We get the trivia on what's your favorite scary movie. We get the phone call. I mean, I get it, the phone calls in a lot of them, but it's the phone call dialogue was almost the same, basically the same dialogue that took place at the Scream 1996. Now, Jenna Ortega does a good job of acting during this sequence, but that's not enough to make up for the lack of originality that this sequence had. And it didn't set the tone well because of it not having originality. That's the main reason why. And so that's the reason why I have it as my number 5. So what about you?
So coming in number 5 is Scream 3 opening scene. So in this particular opening scene, we see Cotton Weary in his 1990s Tahoe talking on his ginormous cell phone from the 90s. And so he's basically having a conversation, and then he gets another phone call from a fan. And this fan actually turns out to be Ghostface. It sounds like a woman, but we see that Ghostface has voice mimicry functions where now he can sound like anybody. And then so he speeds off. Ghostface says that he has his girlfriend. He's going to his girlfriend's place, or actually where he lives and with his girlfriend at their apartment, and he's going to take her out. So we have Cotton drive his Tahoe all the way through the LA streets there to go back to his apartment. And then we see that Ghostface is using the voice mimicry to pretend like he's Cotton and to get his girlfriend, Christine, to open the door. Christine ends up falling to this effect there. And as we see Cotton Weary appear and try to help out, the girlfriend, Christine, knocks him down. And then we see him get back up. Ghostface stabs her from behind. Ghostface then fights Cotton Weary. And Cotton Weary is 6'3", and Ghostface may be 5'11", and Cotton Weary is probably around 250 pounds strong dude in this particular one. But somehow he gets gotten by Ghostface after throwing a bookcase on Ghostface. You would think he would be able to handle the situation from there, but unfortunately, as Ghostface always does, he takes out Cotton. So the reason why I feel as though this particular one was not good is because of the believability. The kill of a 6'3" man, muscle-bound man, Cotton Weary, being easily taken out by Ghostface, who is 3-4 inches shorter and much lighter than our Cotton Weary, just did not seem believable. And that's where this movie started to leave me. So this would have to be my 5th place choice. I did like the fact that it talks about obsession with fame with Cotton Weary, hearing willing to end his call with that he had there in order to talk to a supposed fan, and then also the suspense of him driving in the Tahoe. But this is 5th place for me. Ryan, what is number 4?
Okay, so for me, coming in at number 4 is Scream 3. So Scream 3's opening, as you said, the problems we have with this opening is that, for one, we don't have any meta commentary in this sequence. We do like to see some of the meta-ness added in, but in this, it's just straightforward suspense. That's one reason. Mm-hmm. Another reason is the fact that, as you said, Cotton Weary is 6'3", and potentially he looks like he could be like 6'5". He's a big dude. I don't know how Ghostface was able to just take him out so easily, and it's not believable that he's probably 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds. Ghostface 5'10", 5'11", 200, probably not even 200, probably like 180. 180 pounds takes out this big dude with ease. And then the fact that we use this new piece of technology that we know probably almost certainly didn't exist during that time was those voice changer like that, where you could mimic other people's voices. I mean, we're just now having access to these things now in 2026. So that was not believable. And it didn't build enough dread for me in that situation. And so that's why I have to have it as my number 4. What about you, Kevin? What is your number 4?
So coming in 4th place is the opening scene of Scream 5, or Scream 2022. So just to let you guys know, to refresh what actually happened. So Tara, Jenna Ortega's character, gets a phone call within this kind of home, traditional suburban home with dormer windows on the 2nd floor. She's inside the home in the kitchen. She gets a call, and it turns out that it's a person who says that they are calling to ask about her mother because they're in the same support group as the mother. But it ends up being Ghostface, and Ghostface starts asking questions. What is your favorite scary movie? And so he quizzes her on several things, and Tara uses her smartphone app in order to answer the questions correctly, but she ends up getting the one question you would think everybody knows who are the killers in Scream 1996, and she only mentioned Silly Loomis and not Stu Macher. So she gets that wrong. She gets stabbed, and it looks like he has the upper hand. The Ghostface has the upper hand on Tara. But we find out somehow, some way, Ghostface did not kill Tara, the 5', 95-pound female gets away somehow, but like Ryan said, the 6'3" Cotton Weary doesn't. That is my problem with this particular opening scene. It's unbelievable that she would survive. In no of the other movies do we have in the opening kill scene someone survives, especially for it to be a person who doesn't look like they would survive those attacks, those stabs that occur in this particular one. So the fact that it was unbelievable in that way, the fact that Tara was cheating when trying to answer the questions, I didn't like. The fact that there's a debate as to what horror subgenre is the best, and Tara thinks it's elevated horror, like the Babadook and It Follows and Hereditary and Get Out. I'm sorry, guys, if you're a believer that elevated horror is your favorite horror, I'm sorry, you're wrong. And for that reason, it is number 4. What's number 3 for you, Ryan?
Okay, so for me, coming in at number 3, and number 3 is actually good on my list. If it's a list of 6, number 3, I have Scream 6 from 2023. And the reason why I have it as number 3 is because this sequence goes in some bold directions that we haven't seen. So for one, we get the Ghostface revealed at the end of part of the sequence. That has never been done before. We're waiting for the title card to, roll out and occur, and we get a still frame or still shot on the Ghostface who takes off his mask and robe right there, and you're just sitting, you're like, huh? So I really like that. I thought that was bold. And then the setting taking place in a dark alley. We're so used to the houses at this point because those are getting old. It's like, can y'all do something outside of those houses? Because we've seen that before too many times. I mean, saw it in the first one, in the third one, and then saw it in Scream 5. So it's like, okay, yes, change of setting. And then the next reason why I liked it is because this sequence has a Ghostface get taken out by another Ghostface to end. And that's something that we haven't seen, and I really like that. So I've got it as my number 3, which is pretty good. So what about you? What do you got at number 3, Kevin?
So coming in with a bronze is Scream 6. Similar to Ryan, I felt like this subversion was actually a proper subversion of the Scream franchise opening scenes. So like Ryan said, instead of having a scene with a big, large 6,000 square foot home, Victorian style with all the fineries of one young teenage girl, you don't get that. What you do get is something that's more akin to reality now these days, especially in cities. You have a Tinder date going on here. You have the person in the opening scene who is the female, basically professor, being there trying to make sure her Tinder date actually shows up and gets a phone call that he is lost. This is realistic. And to see that she gets stabbed in the alleyway, and then we don't get our title card, and then we go for this scene drags us longer, and we're trying to wonder what is going on. They've already revealed who the actual Ghostface is, and it turns out that actually they haven't. And then the guy that poses as Ghostface gets taken out himself, and then we get the title card. I like that. The purpose of an opening scene in a horror movie is to give us a kill and to keep us drawn into movie. And if that is the purpose of the opening scene of horror movies, this film does that really high level. So that's why it's my number 3. Ryan, what is number 2 for you?
Okay, so coming in at number 2, which is a really good spot on my list, is Scream 2 from 1997. And man, you just can't beat that well that Jada Pinkett Smith did in that theater. She gets up, it's so dramatic. She gets up on the stage and she's wailing after she got stabbed. And it's just so funny, like everybody in the theater is just looking because they think it's a part of the act, and it's actually not. But it's something about that. The fact that we've never seen like a sequence in a theater is very interesting. And then we also have Mark Epps' character go into the bathroom, and you see other ghost faces or other people dressed up like Ghostface. And so you're trying to figure out where is Ghostface at, because everybody in this theater is wearing a Ghostface mask. And you see him listening on the stall, and then all of a sudden he hears something in the stall, and then Ghostface stabs him straight in the ear. Now I know some people say, well, how did Ghostface know he was putting his head there? I mean, that was not good writing there, but I can forgive that because of the dramatic effect of what Jada Pinkett Smith's character was able to do. And then when she's sitting there eating the popcorn and then first notices that there's blood in the popcorn because Ghostface comes out of the bathroom and he has Omar Epps' jacket on and stuff, and she thinks it's him, and there's blood in the popcorn. She's eating it, and then she all of a sudden looks, and then she gets all scared, and then that's when Ghostface goes and gets her there. But yeah, that is my second place because of those things. So what about you? What's your second place, Kevin?
Coming in number 2, or shall we say, receiving a silver medal, is Scream 2 opening scene. So we see, as Ryan was talking about, 2 African American characters here. They're a couple, played by Omar Epps, who plays Phil Stevens, and Jada Pinkett Smith, who plays Maureen Evans. And so one of the things that I enjoyed about this particular opening scene is the meta commentary. So for the first time, this particular franchise provides commentary, not about horror movie genre altogether, but it provides commentary on itself through the stabs. Here, of course, you may say, well, they were talking about the stabs and other things. Yes, but this one is providing criticism. And basically what they're saying, as we get through Jada Pinkett Smith's character, Maureen Evans, and this is what she says: horror genre is historical for excluding the African American element.
No, all I'm saying is that the horror genre is historical for excluding the African American element.
And so that has been a criticism for the longest part, especially at the time. This is 1997, so we have to go back before 1997 to see how was this true. In many ways, we see that they were excluded. I know that James A. Janice talks about, hey, well, on our dead meats kill counts, we actually don't see that African Americans are the first to be killed. I'm sorry, I love you, James A. Janice, but you're conflating what the issue is.
Name a black character who survived a horror movie. If they get it wrong, they die. Oh, fucking easy. You've got Brandy and I Still Know, Dwayne Martin in Scream 2, Miguel A. Nunez in Leprechaun 4.
So let me read this again. We get Maureen Evans, Jada Pinkett Smith's character, say, horror genre is historical for excluding the African American element. This has nothing to do with African Americans being the first to be killed. This has everything to do with the fact that we don't really see African American characters being final boys or final girls. How many movies have you seen outside of maybe Barbarian where you had a African American be a finalist and survive in the movie all the way to the conclusion?
I can't think of any.
Who was a main character.
Yeah, I cannot.
Not a side character who was off for half the movie and then comes back at the end.
Yeah.
But who's a main character. That is the criticism that Jada Pinkett Smith has. So I'm sorry, Mr. James A. Janice, you're wrong in your kind of address and acknowledgement of the criticism from the movie. So I enjoyed the meta commentary. Also enjoyed the fan consumption. Here we have everyone dressed up in the Scream mask and gown and stuff like that, and then having a fake dagger or knife from the Scream. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they're overly consumed with this franchise causes them to not be aware of reality. So I'm just going to read what I wrote here. The thing is, in this movie, the criticism is that we are so obsessed in our fandom that we lose awareness of reality. And I love that commentary there for fan consumption. And then lastly, we have public killings here. This is where we see a public killing for our opening scene. This starts the whole public killing that leads us to Scream 6, where there's the bodega scene. This is how we get the bodega scene in Scream 6. We probably wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for this opening kill scene. So that's the reason why it's number 2. Ryan, what is your first place?
Okay, so man, oh man, y'all already know what this one is. So coming in at the number 1 spot is no other than Scream 1 from 1996. And this comes in at number 1 because this kill sequence sets the tone for the whole franchise. This kill sequence does a great job of building suspense. This is what horror movies need to do. They should take notes, not copy beat for beat, but look at how this kill sequence transpired. You have Casey Becker, played by Drew Barrymore, getting that phone call, and all of a sudden, it starts elevating to becoming more of a sinister type call, and then she's getting little hints from the caller that he might know that be looking at her or somewhere in the vicinity, and then it starts to escalate, and it gets more dreadful and dreadful each minute. This was terrifying, especially when we see her trying to escape from Ghostface and she's so close, seconds away from getting to her parents after she had ran outside to escape, and she's unable to do so. And the next thing you know, you see her hanging up on a tree, and she's been disemboweled. It's a gruesome sequence, but it sets the tone for the whole franchise. It's one of the best kill sequences that I have seen in any horror movie, not just in this franchise or opening sequences. This is the best I have seen. I don't know any that are better than this. This was set up very well. Wes Craven did this good. And we also have the addition of the meta commentary, and that's part of the reason why we see some of these other Scream films. They kind of steal little nuggets from this because it was so rich in different ways of building dread and suspense. So I have no other number one aside from this. So what about you? What's your number one, Kevin?
So number one is no other than Scream 1996. So likewise, Ryan, I also have Scream number one as my first place. So the things that we need to talk about, everyone understands that we have Drew Barrymore's character, Casey Becker. Basically, we think she's the final girl. She's been promoted as the final girl in the promotionals and the advertisements leading up to Scream 1996. She's also a well-famous actress at the time who is at the pinnacle of her career during the time that she appears in this movie. So we think this is our final girl, right? She looks the part. Yep. She's famous. She can carry the movie, but we find out in the first act this is not true. And some of the things I enjoyed is the subversion of the star. Again, a great actress being promoted as the final girl implicitly gets killed off within the first 12 minutes of the movie. I also enjoyed the visuals where we see Casey Becker, played by Drew Barrymore, and her boyfriend, Steve Orth's character, being killed off and disemboweled in the opening act. Also, the visuals with this, as we see the intestines of both of these characters once Ghostface gets them, first with Steve, then with Casey. So I like the practical effects in this particular opening. I like the fact that we started off introducing the famous trivia game, what is your favorite scary movie? With this particular scene, as we get our quiz questions through no other than Ghostface himself, we basically become students in this act. We take on the role that Casey Becker is coming in, trying to remember and recall the answers to this, and unfortunately she gets one of them wrong, and that's who is the original killer in Friday the 13th. It's not Jason like she says, it's actually Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees. And then the rest is history, and that's how we get our final opening scene. This is our best, and it probably will remain our best even with this next movie coming up. So Ryan, with that, we've given you our tier count for opening scenes. What will we be working on?
Okay, so we will be working on some more Scream tier counts in the future. One of them being our rankings of the different ghost faces, and then another one dealing with what every Scream movie's biggest mistake was. And then we're also going to be doing The Strangers Chapter 3 coming up this upcoming week. So yeah.
Well, guys, we're interested in knowing your thoughts about what is your ranking of all 6 opening scenes. Please put your ranking in the comment section below. And remember, Fright Fam, be watchful!